So you will be shocked what Prabhupada says about this. What is this, like this ratio, or how you say, I don't know, what's the English word, maybe it's ratio.
Range?
Not range. I mean, how much less do you get than you deserve? You will be shocked what Prabhupada says about that. I'll give you one example. When I was doing this research into this verse, so I found this statement. He says, when you come to a high court judge, and you say, oh, well, you have to be fined $1 million, and he says that the judge, okay, you just pay a few cents. Can you imagine that? So that means that Krishna reduces our karma so much that we cannot imagine, and we still complain. We still complain. So I think that the whole chapter is about not blaming anybody, not blaming others. And of course, it doesn't mean you should not protect yourself. It doesn't mean that people who do wrong should not be, brought to justice. But at the same time,
But we have come because we know he is helping us. We are not complaining. When we have something in Seva, we get operation, our stones are taking. We are tolerating. Thank you very much, dear doctor. Please, the flowers for you. Thank you so much. Yes, some other examples. When it's going about this suffering, we are complaining.
which suffering?
What's coming from karma, what is coming from, yes, we are sometimes complaining, oh what, so the girl is so skinny, why don't you give her some, wow, it's...
I'm not sure when I will leave. I will leave before we finish, but I will try to finish to cover the main points from the chapter short, but how he thinks, and this is a story of personal transformation, from a person who was a bad person, greedy, like miserly, stingy. He lost everything, and he had this epiphany. He has this amazing realization. He became detached. It doesn't matter to him anymore. He wasn't attached to anything or to anyone, to wealth, to family, and then related to your question, what happened to Varanti Brahmana is that when he became serious about spiritual life, then his big trouble started to happen. People started to torture him, spit on him, urinate on him, say you're a fake, you're pretending you're a spiritual person, insult him like anything, tie him. One fraction of a second, he didn't blame anybody, especially not God. He was so determined, he was so sure that he's on the right path and that he will be okay, and he had faith in God. And he made this, there is one verse, amazing statement. He's saying that this is not the cause of my suffering, and that is not the cause of my suffering, and these people are not the cause of my suffering, and demigods are not the cause of my suffering, and destiny, and this and that. And it's only the mind, my mind, that is the cause of my suffering. He says that. And this is stated also in some other parts in the Bhagavatam. So now this is 108% responsibility, what he does, complete responsibility. And when I believe that if God sees this as a determination, he really comes in to help. There is a story, this story of Chaitanya Mukunda. He's associated a little bit with Mayavadis, and Lord Chaitanya got very angry, and he said, I don't want to see him anymore. And he started to suffer. He was in pain because of this, because he loves Lord Chaitanya. And occasionally devotees would ask him, when he can have your darshan. He would say, no, never, rascal. And so once he told he asked devotees that, please ask him, at least can he give me a deadline or something when I can see him. And he said, okay, in millions of lifetimes. And got back to Lord Chaitanya, he said, oh, we told him. And Lord Chaitanya was very curious how he reacted to this when you told him that he will see me in millions of lifetimes. Oh, he was in ecstasy. He said, Jai, Hari Bol, I will see my Lord in millions of lifetimes. This will be a fraction of a second. He said, really? Bring him in. So I want to say that the Lord really, really appreciates determination, gratitude, faith, these basic qualities of a devotee. And he can do anything. He can shorten your punishment or whatever. Or from the Shastra we learn about the incredible attitude of devotees, incredible attitude of different devotees, Haridas Thakur, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, what kind of, and Dhruva Maharaj had also, he had a material desire. I mean, not everybody was super perfect. Somebody had here, there was yogis, there was Salvari Muni, there was Chitraketu who was attached to his son. I mean, there's so many devotees with so many problems. But still, they somehow rose up by the mercy of God and also by their sincerity. And they were guided also by Narada, the spiritual masters, and they were able to make it and to succeed. And I mean, when there is suffering, who becomes poetic? Poetic if there is suffering. Usually we become poetic when everything is rosy or warm, things like that. But Avanti Brahmana, in the middle of heavy suffering, he's very poetic. He says, I shall cross the ocean of the material existence on the boat of, I don't know, the instructions, Lord. He's fearless. And he doesn't mind, and he doesn't blame people who torture him. Can you imagine that? I wrote this book, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like to blame others? And I got a lot of 10s. They are proud of this. Devotees are proud. They like, I mean, some maybe we are teasing me or joking, but there was nothing below. Scale of 1 to 10, how much? So we have this habit of blaming others, and Avanti Brahma is teaching us the opposite. How not to blame anyone, how to take responsibility, and being unbreakably determined to continue despite all the obstacles. So I mentioned the other day this statement, they now say this apocalyptic statement of Govinda Dasi Mataji, apocalyptic statement that the Prophet said we should go outside of the cities because in the cities it will be hellish, there will be violence, so many things. So I mentioned this, and devotees object. When I posted it or sent it to them, they said, no, we're going to stay here. We're going to preach. This will not scare us to go vacation in the nature. Have a vacation in the nature. You have a nice, peaceful village life with a lot of milk and paneer. People are dying in the cities. So some of us will not want to go to that. It's not that you want to be a hero, but you want to preach. I mean, you will die, but you want to give. Maybe for some people, your book will be their connection with Krishna before they die. Maybe they will, because of you, they will remember Krishna and they will be saved. Or the holy name. I think somebody told me some years ago that there was a movie about apocalypse. I don't know which movie is this. I didn't watch it. But there was like a massive destruction, and then after the destruction, you see devotees are coming and chanting. So they are one of the rare people who survived. Somebody remember director imagined that after Hare Krishnas will remain. So yeah, there is things like that. Also, there was movies with devotees, fun of devotees, like, in the airplane crash or something. Devotees got scared. So anyway, but so important, and this you see this this story at the end. I will start by reading the end of the story. Benefits of studying this chapter are described, and then we can go back to the. I just want to inspire you to get into this story more deeply. And do you have 11 in German? Translated? No. Oh, Krishna. We have to catch some translators by the neck. This chapter is called the Song of the Avanti Brahmana. So what he was saying, these verses are called the song. Anyone who listens to or recites to others this song of the sannyasi, which presents scientific knowledge of the Absolute, and who meditates upon it with full attention, will never again be overwhelmed by the dualities of material happiness and distress. Isn't that a good promise? Yeah. So that's the last verse 60. So I want to read the overview of the chapter, which is a good, and then we can see how far we can go. When we finish this verse, maybe there will be apocalypse.
And we're ready for it.
Yeah. Prabhupada says if you don't do something big. And also in other countries he would say, what's the use of being German if you don't do something big for Krishna? Song of the Avanti Brahmana, Canto 11, chapter 23. This chapter tells the story of a mendicant sannyasi from the Avanti country as an example of how one should disturbances and offenses created by evil persons. Harsh words of unkind persons pierce the heart even more severely than arrows. Yet a mendicant Brahmana from the city of Avanti, even while being attacked by wicked men, considered this trouble to be simply the consequence of his own past deeds and tolerated it with utmost sobriety. Previously, the Brahmana had been an agriculturalist and merchant. So how is this? Agriculturalist and merchant is Vaishya. So it says the Brahmana was this. So there is a verse, there is in the 7th canto, there is descriptions of varnas and ashramas, and it says that if Brahmana doesn't have any other source of income, he can other varnas duties and means of maintenance. Yes?
For this example, in South India there was a great Rishi or something. His name was Bommera Potan. He translated Srimad Bhagavatam from Sanskrit. So he was very, very poor. So one day from his father he got this cow. So he one day Goddess Saraswati appeared in front of him, who are writing Bhagavatam, translating from Sanskrit to Telugu. Will you sell these books to the people? He said that I don't sell books. So that even though he was in very poor condition, still he maintained with agriculture his life.
Thank you. Whenever you have a story, you to illustrate some point. That would be very helpful. Previously, the Brahmana had been an agriculturalist and merchant, extremely greedy, miserly, and prone to anger. These are not Brahminical qualities. He was born in the family of Brahmana, but he wasn't behaving like a Brahmana. As a result, his wife relatives and servants were all deprived of every kind of enjoyment and gradually came to behave unaffectionately towards him. In due course of time, thieves, family members, and providence took away the sum total of his wealth. Finding himself without any property and abandoned by everyone, the Brahmana developed a deep sense of renunciation. So they renounced him, he renounced. How the earning and realization of wealth involve great effort, fear, anxiety, and confusion. Because of wealth, there arise 15 unwanted items: thievery, violence, lying, deception, lust, anger, pride, feverishness, disagreement, hatred, distrust, conflict, attachment to women, gambling, and intoxication. When this meditation arose in his heart, the Brahmana could understand that the Supreme Lord Sri Hari had somehow become satisfied with him. He felt that only because the Lord was pleased with him had the apparently unfavorable events in his life occurred. Can you imagine this? Do you understand this sentence? He said, he felt that only because the Lord was with him had the apparently unfavorable turn of events in his life occurred. So all this trouble that he had, he calls this apparently unfavorable, seemingly unfavorable. So it looks like hell, but actually it's a blessing. And it's called blessing in disguise. It's called also blessing in disguise. So this is a attitude that he has. He felt, yes, he was grateful that a sense of detachment had arisen in his heart and considered it the factual means for delivering his. In this condition, he determined to engage the duration of his life in the worship of Lord Hari, and thus accept the mendicant order of Tridandi Sannyas. Subsequently, he would enter different villages to beg charity, but the people would harass and disturb him. But he simply tolerated all this, remained fixed in his chosen spiritual practice, and sang a song renowned as the Bhikshu Gita. There is many Gitas in the Bhagavatam. There is Aila Gita, Bhumi Gita, Gopi Gita, Uddhava Gita, Bhikshu Gita. Gita means song. There is this song of Lord Shiva in the fourth canto, that Prachetas were singing. So now people knew him before when he took sannyas that they thought he's fake. He's now just begging so he can get something because he lost everything. He's a great cheat. He's serious about spiritual life and about sannyas. Okay. Neither mortal persons, nor the demigods, the soul, planets, the reactions of work, nor time are the causes of one's happiness and distress. This is what I mentioned to you. He's mentioning what are not the causes of suffering. Rather, alone is their cause, because it is the mind that makes the spirit soul wander in the cycle of material life. The real purpose of all charity, religiosity, and so forth is to bring the mind under control. A person who has already composed his mind in meditation for these other processes, and for a person who is incapable of fixing his mind, no practical use. The false conception of material ego binds the mental soul to material sense objects. The Avanti Brahmana therefore became determined to bring himself over the insurmountable ocean of material existence by rendering service to the lotus feet of Lord Mukunda with the same perfect faith in the Lord exhibited by the great devotees of the past. So, one great example, apart from Dhruva Maharaj, one example in the Bhagavatam of determination in devotional service, determination in worshipping the Lord, is Avanti Brahmana. Was so determined that he was ready to undergo trouble. So he has had faith that he will cross the insurmountable ocean of material existence by devotional service. He had that faith. And we need that faith, especially in these difficult times. And one thing that you can do when you meet people or when you speak to devotees is to somehow give them hope and give them faith and encourage them to in the Lord in these difficult times. And this will also increase your own faith. Only when one can focus his intelligence on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he completely subdued. This is the essence of all practical prescriptions for spiritual advancement. So focusing the mind on the Lord and I think it's, I can't remember where I read this, Charitamrita or Bhagavad Gita. It is said that Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna are the same. Because by chanting Hare Krishna we remember the Lord, by thinking of Krishna we remember the Lord. In this age, the most practical way of focusing on Krishna and thinking of Krishna is chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The mind can be only subdued if it is completely absorbed on the Lord, on the service of his devotees. This is the overview of the chapter, and now we know what we will read. Let me see. So we will start slowly. It has 61 verse. We start slowly to read, and of course you can also ask questions. It starts first with shorter purports. There will be some longer purports later, but in the beginning there is shorter purports. 20, 30 verses there are purports, and then there are a couple of longer purports later. And actually, what I will also do, I will look at the database and see what if Srila Prabhupada said anything about Avanti Brahmana. I think he did quote Canto, and from this chapter also, I think he did quote a couple of times. Okay, so I have two things to do. One is to see where he mentions Avanti Brahmana in his teachings, any place, and put this in one file, in one place. The task would be to see if he quoted any verses from the 11th canto, 11th chapter, 11th canto, 23rd chapter, and then we can have some additional material that will help us to study this chapter and to learn. So text 1. Shri Badarayani Ruvacha Sahevam Shamsa Udhavena Bhagavata Mukhena Dasharha Mukhyaha Sabajayan Brityavacho Mukundas Tam Ababashe Shravaniya Viryaha. So who is Badarayani? Who is Badarayani? Who? No, Badarani. Who is Badarani? Badarani. Who? Are you reading?
Yes.
Yes, Shukadeva Goswami is Badarani. Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami said, Lord Mukunda, the chief of the Dasharhas, having thus been respectfully requested by the best devotees, Sri Uddhava, first acknowledged the fitness of his servant's statements. Then the Lord, whose glorious exploits are most worthy of being heard, began to reply to him. Exploits means activities. So, Swami is describing the conversation between Uddhava and Krishna, and this is still a very large part of the 11th canto is called Uddhava Gita, where Krishna is instructing Uddhava. And there is many things from the Bhagavad Gita and from the other parts of the Bhagavatam where Krishna is now expanding in this 11th. This is like volumes. So Krishna is explaining about the modes, explaining about yoga, explaining about the worship in this, and it's, I don't know, from the 7th until the 29th chapter of this canto. So now Krishna is all these things to Uddhava, and now he wants to narrate this story and explain to Uddhava something, which we will see what it is. Barhaspatya sanastyatra sadurvai durja neritai duruktair binam atmanam yasmadatum ishvaraha. Lord Shri Krishna said, O disciple of Brihaspati, there is virtually no saintly man in this world capable of resettling his own mind after it has been disturbed by the incessant of uncivilized men. You see? Even saintly personalities are disturbed by shouting words or by sharp words. Uncivilized men. Report. In the modern age, there is widespread ridiculing the path of spiritual realization. And thus, even saintly devotees are disturbed to see the progress of human society being obstructed. Still, a devotee of the Lord must tolerate any personal insult, though he cannot tolerate offense against the Lord himself or the Lord's pure devotee. So with the present situation, we see that like gathering of more people is not allowed, and I heard that in Jagannath Puri this year there will be no Jagannath because these mass gatherings are forbidden. You heard about that? I heard, yeah, there will be no Jagannath festival. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I heard like this, that they're planning not to do it. So this is a big blow because demonic personalities always want to stop the glorification of the Lord. Natata tapyate vidaha banais marmagaihi yata tudanti marmastha hyasatam harusheshavaha. Sharp arrows which pierce one's chest and reach the heart do not cause as much suffering as the arrows of the harsh, insulting words that become lodged within the heart when spoken by uncivilized men. Harsh speech is described as the child of death and envy. Part of the Bhagavatam, harsh speech is described as durukti, and harsh speech is a child of death and envy. These are the parents of harsh speech. Very nice family. Text 4. Katayanti mahat punyam itihasam ihodava tamaham varnayishyami nibodha su samahitaha. My dear Uddhava, in this regard, a most pious story is told, and I shall now describe it to you. Please listen with careful attention. So here, samahitaha, susamahitaha is very important for us. The last word, please listen with careful attention. Susamahita, samahitaha means careful attention. Samahitaha means careful attention, and susamahita No. So attention, samakitaha means attention, and susamakita means careful attention or very strong attention. Purport. The Lord will now relate to Uddhava a historical account which teaches how to tolerate the insults of others. So it seems this is a true story. It's not like invented. Of course, many stories, almost I think all stories are true stories. But there is one thing that I didn't understand, and I asked Vidananda Maharaj. You know the story of Puranjana? Yeah. So this story starts as Narada is Narada Muni is speaking, is telling this story, and it says that it is allegorical story. But later it becomes actually a historical account. And I didn't understand this, and I asked Maharaj, and he explained something which I didn't understand. I didn't understand why now this has become a historical story when it was an allegory. If you hear from any preacher explanation, please let me know. I would like to understand the explanation of this point. The allegory becoming the historical account or historical. So I'm going to stop here. We will continue with the beginning of the story, verse 5. So we have read the introduction, we have read the last verse, and we have read the first 4 verses. And we will continue, I think, next week. We will start reading, and maybe we will do more verses next week. Various purports. But to start with, because I was also speaking about other things, so it took time. So we will actually cover more of the chapter. We don't want to, at the same time we want to cover enough. So do you have any questions about this? Yes?
How can we defend ourselves against sharp words?
Defend against?
Can we defend ourselves against sharp words? There may be true, but we know that Krishna will somehow protect the situation, protect us, and will provide the situation.
How can we defend ourselves against the sharp words of uncivilized men? Or of family members, or friends, or general public, of others? So your question is, how can we protect ourselves from the sharp words of others? So I would like to ask you, what do you think? Did you have any idea how this can be done?
Either, I would say, by preaching, even though this is probably not always appropriate timing, or by going away, I don't know. Yeah.
Going away,
Or,
preaching?
leaving the situation, but trying to be kind and tolerating, trying to tolerate.
Do you know what does it mean to be assertive? Assertive? It means, it means to be firm but respectful. I would say peacefully firm but respectful. Peacefully and respectfully. Peaceful and respectful but firm. Or peacefully firm. Something like respectfully firm. So that you show people that you don't accept. But sometimes this even makes them even more angry or crazy, so you have to be, maybe it's better say nothing in some situations, because some people are really mad and you have no idea what they will do. So you have to see what is the most appropriate reaction to such thing. Anybody has ideas how to react? Yeah?
Yes. Actually, say yes. You're right. You do harsh words, and then you get over this feeling of being disturbed and hurt, and just you kind of stress the point again and say yes, you're right. Some people are getting not to do it because some people are getting, but like some realize what they just said, and then they feel sorry. But it's not about making them feel sorry, it's just about seeing a point in it.
But if he's not right, or if that person's not right.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
Money was too strong for that.
It may be that you should stop doing things or doing things that irritate them also. Maybe you are doing things that are irritate them, so you have to stop. Maybe you're doing something wrong, so maybe you're the initiator of their anger and their harsh words. So this is also one case. Yes?
But sometimes, for example, people do for Sankirtan, there are some people that don't like that we preach. So we just can say, okay, you are right, I stop preaching, I go to temple back and eat prasada. We should just try 3 hours Sankirtan just to end the, like, sometimes happened to me that Christian or people came to me, they say, Krishna is the devil, Krishna is not God. And they just want to continue. I just try to say, you have your God, I have mine, so just finish the conversation and just make a point. And don't talk with them like...
Don't argue.
Yes, don't like making...
If somebody is making offense, you should either leave or cut their tongue. Or defeat them philosophically. These are 3 options. Of course, first, cutting tongue is not a very practical option. Philosophical, defeat if you can defeat them philosophically. They are willing to discuss. You can try. Otherwise, you need to leave. And it's not good if you say if someone is in Krishna or... Yeah?
Depends on where these harsh words are directed to. If I direct it to yourself, what you said, we are, and you should listen and see, or I should correct something in myself, not to irritate the devotees. But sometimes the devotees are being insulted. When the devotee is being insulted, for example, spiritual master, senior devotee, or Yamanas, yes. So we can certainly say to cut that, kill him, or but it is not real now. We should be things that are real. Yes, that's why. Well, what I heard of the other devotees, the best way to get away, not to listen to these critical words, not to react, not to interfere in the situation, not to make it worse.
What do you do? What do you do? When
I will go. I will now. Before, when I was at the beginning, I was fighting somehow. How you can say that the sun, but this doesn't. It didn't bring any results. It didn't bring any results. Yes. If you are in the temple, especially living in the temple, you should avoid the critical situation. You should avoid the harsh words because temple should be peaceful. Yes. That's why I would get away.
Thank you. Anything else? Now, this particular story is about insults to yourself. It's not about insults to God. They just insult him. They say you're a cheat.
And then you should see what you said. Maybe I should correct my behavior. Maybe this is fear. I have experienced such situation in the temple at the beginning. There was one Mataji. Now we are very good friends. I will not describe. It was physical. It was not physical. It was everything. Everything. We have experienced everything. It was such a nice story. Yes, I would like to repeat maybe. Very nice story. Yeah. Now we're very good friends. Yes, and then later I did understand why it was because that is not possible that in this situation when harsh words are speaking, 2 persons are participating. That is always more. Who is indirect also participating in this situation. That's why we should think where it comes from, why she is irritated. Maybe someone has insulted her. Maybe something else. Maybe oh yeah, okay, no, I don't want to be a victim. It is different. It is very different, but we should think. We shouldn't react without contemplating. It's not good. It doesn't help. And after this, I felt because it was from me, it was very thankful. So exploded. I felt very bad. I felt very bad, and I felt
The most difficult situation that I have seen in my life on this planet is between husband and wife, or between a man and woman. And when I counsel couples, then I try to see which one of them can be peaceful when the conflict starts. Can be, has ability already, some kind of ability. And if both of them have fiery nature, then it's very difficult not to have a fight. But there is always one who actually can calm down. It doesn't have to always be a woman. It can be a man also. I also wrote one post. You can say both, but everyone needs a man who will not freak out when she freaks out. And I got a lot of likes and messages, but I can also say every man needs a woman who will not freak out when he freaks out. I'll try this one later. I'll put and see how the devotees react. And it's so nice to ask devotees a question. Facebook is such a... People think Facebook is a waste of time, but if you use it for preaching, you will get amazing things on Facebook. Like, for example, I posted, how do you know that you love someone? By which symptoms? Only feeling or something else? And I got, now I'm compiling a file or, article text of their answers, because devotees gave beautiful answers to their question. I was surprised with some of them for 1 nanosecond. Nanosecond is how much? It's like a 1,000th of a second.
Es gehören zwei dazu.
Es gehören immer zwei dazu.
Es gehören immer zwei dazu. In der Schule, when there was fighting, and the teacher also said, es gehören immer zwei dazu.
Okay. Yes.
It was him. Es gehören immer zwei dazu.
Yeah. So for a fight you need 2 people, and if one is dedicated to not fighting, it's difficult to fight. It's difficult to fight. I'm really into. I think I'm very cruel, and people would prefer that I fight than to just ignore them. Just give them a cold shoulder. But one can try to calm down the other person. So why are you disturbed? And what can I do to make you feel better? Things like that, So try to calm down. Usually the other person is not pure demon. They are disturbed because of something. Sometimes they are disturbed because of something else, but they are taking it on you. So you have to figure out what it is and help them to calm down and to become. So this is one thing, but we will discuss all these details throughout this chapter. It's very nice that you're asking these questions, how to react in different situations, conflict resolution, anger management. And I told you about this. You can take different tools, how to control yourself at least, to dedicate yourself to not being angry or speaking harshly. So I was a couple of times negative, which is quite rare with my wife, and she said, "Oh, you're Mr. Positive, Mr. Coach, so why are you so negative?" And I said, "You got me. Next time I'm negative, I will give you 10 pounds." And I lost only once. Only once I